represent something or someone in a very efficient way. And flags, because they're symbols, they carry meaning. Because just like when we see these symbols, we feel relieved, and when we see these symbols light up on our dashboard, we feel stressed, right? So these symbols carry meaning, and this meaning affects us, and flags are no different. And yes, a little heads up, in this presentation I will not be showing any actual flags, because these are just images of flags. An actual flag you will see, out front, flying in the wind. That's an actual flag. Like in the tree right here. Those are flags. These are just images of flags. Yes, we'll start with a story with where a flag actually made a difference and made an impact in the world. There was I think it was a European Cup qualification game between Serbia and Albania, where someone flew this drone carrying a flag of Greater Albania into the stadium. And if anyone kind of knows what happened in the 90s in former Yugoslavia, then they know how sensitive this might be. So this got people quite angry. People from the Serbian team, they tore down the flag when it was flying over the field, and just chaos ensued. The game was first suspended for an hour and a half. People were fighting. The teams ended up fighting with each other. They were escorted out of the stadium. And all throughout Europe, kind of fights and skirmishes broke out, with Albanians and Serbians both taking to the streets, like assaulting Albanian or Serbian shops, or like getting into fights with the police, all because of one flag. And now, coming up, we have another video of someone who really cares about flags. Can we start? Do I?
No.
Yes. There was supposed to be sound with this, but there isn't. At least not during the... Oh. What?
Sorry.
Oh, what the fuck? Oh, yeah, there you go. In the words of this ex-Marine, turn that fucking flag upside down. It's not a secret that Americans have this kind of special relationship with their flag, and the American flag is one of the most well-recognized symbols worldwide. And because it's so well recognized, this makes for great use of, like, you can modify it, and it's still recognizable as an American flag. Like in the top left, we have the thin blue line, kind of an anti-Black Lives Matter movement that says like, oh, like police lives matter. Very interesting. On the right, we have the United States of Gay. On the left, we have the flag for marijuana enthusiasts. And on the bottom right, that doesn't mean anything. You just swap the bars and the stripes the other way around. It's an American flag. You see it everywhere. People just have like shirts with the American flag or like a phone background, and it's a powerful symbol. Like it's instantly recognizable, and it carries more meaning than just like for America, because these are protesters in Hong Kong. They have opted to use the American flag in their protests because for them it not just represents America, it represents freedom, it represents liberty and democracy. And they've also started using, no, never mind. But it would be a shame to only talk about the US for this entire presentation, because flags are worldwide. These are some images from the last couple of weeks from Chile, Haiti, that's Ecuador, and that's Lebanon, and these are all anti-government protests, but they still opted to use their national flags, because flags go way deeper than just represent the government of the country. You represent the essence of the country, and this is what these people are trying to recover in the streets. Yes, and this is the British and the UK flag used by Hong Kong protesters with a very sad sign, "Save us." But flags are not just for countries. Some artist made this. He called it the flag of the West, the industrialized part of the world, and it's just black smoke coming out of a pole. And short little pop quiz. Can anyone tell me what this flag is for?
Esperanto.
Esperanto, yes. It's a flag for a language. Languages can have flags. Next one. Anyone? Yes, Nordic Council. Anyone knows what this is? Veganism, exactly. Ethical movements can have flags as well. Anyone? Any South Koreans? No, not South Koreans. You've got South Koreans. No. This is the flag of the Kuomintang, a political party. This is a flag of the Rohingya. This is an ethnic minority who's currently facing genocide in Myanmar. They have a flag as well. And any football fans here? Yes, this is the flag of HSV, a football club in Hamburg, and that's beautiful, right? Because that's the kind of how I got into flags. It's like they're just beautifully designed, and they're kind of like at the crossroads of politics, history, and graphic design, and they can just, they're fucking beautiful. And one can wonder, like, where would independence movements be if they didn't have a flag to literally rally under? We have in Spain and in the UK, we have these movements that are trying to get away from the central government. And what do? You go out to the streets and you have a flag. It's like one of the first things you need if you want to be independent. You just have this flag. Oh yeah, we've been having some protests in the Netherlands as well, mostly by farmers doing this. They're not in favor of some new regulations by the government. And so what they did was they took the Dutch flag, which normally is red, white, and blue, but they turned it upside down. So now it's blue, white, and red. What I don't think they realized is that this is the old flag of the Kingdom of Yugoslavia. so they're either for reinstating the King of Yugoslavia, or they're angry, because this is actually it's a normal thing to turn your flag upside down. It comes from the maritime tradition, where before there was any communication between flags, the flags that were flying on the back of ships, they would turn it upside down in times of distress. But what do you do if you have a flag that just remains the same if you turn it upside down? Like the Icelandic flag is exactly the same. Well, you do something which is called a weft. Never heard of it before either, but this is when you tie a knot into a flag. The Belgians did it after the terror attacks in Brussels, and also to sign the stress. And one of these flags is also flying half-mast to sign days of sadness. Yes, and of course there is a scientific study of flags, which is called vexillology. Yeah, it's a weird word. You get used to it. It comes from the Latin and Greek for flag and study, which makes complete sense. And as with any niche interests, there are forums online where vexillology enthusiasts from all over the globe gather. And these people tend to have a special sense of humor. For instance, this is the flag of Japan, but it's early in the morning. This is the flag of Canada after I've bought a leaf blower. And this is the flag of Wales. But flags aren't just fun. They can be dangerous. And no one can see this image without feeling something, right? And this flag has changed the course of history, because now anytime we see something with this red, white and black color scheme, we just think of evil. I'm sorry, Yemen and Egypt. That's just like that they got this to you. So like when you're an author and you're trying to, or like a film director, and you're trying to depict this evil authoritarian regime, what do? You take this color scheme. This is from V for Vendetta. I'm sure most of you have seen it, and this is it's just they took the Nazi colors. It's very simple. If you now want to communicate this in just language and just in not in language, in visuals and in color, and it's actually a shame because how vile and just hateful and wrong Nazi movements are. They make some fantastic flags. Like this is Romania, South Africa, the UK fascist, and the Nordic resistance movement, which has been popping up here in Reykjavik last couple months. Yeah, no, like terrible movements, but good graphic design. And about Nazi flags, actually, this is whenever the Dutch participate in any sporting event, you'll see these crowds and crowds of people wearing orange. You're like, what? Orange? You show the Dutch flag. There's no orange in it. Yes, but the Dutch flag used to look like this. This is what we now call the Prinsenvlag. This was the flag of the Netherlands during the 17th century. And at one point we switched to red because orange dye became too expensive. So they were just like, oh, fuck it. Just use red, it's fine. But now what has happened in recent years is that the Nazi movement in the Netherlands, and actually during the Second World War as well, has opted to use this flag because, back in the 17th century, the Dutch were, they had a colonial empire stretching from Suriname to Indonesia, and were genociding indigenous people and just pillaging the world. And they were like, yeah, that was a good time. We should take the flag back. And it's just so sad because it's a really nice flag and an historical flag, but now you can't just walk on the street with it because you're a fucking Nazi. Yes, because I just said like, oh, beautiful, nice. But what makes a good flag? There are five guidelines. These are not rules. These are guidelines. So if you ever want to make a flag for a club, language, religion, these are the 5 rules you want to follow if you want to have like a good flag going on. Rule 1 is keep it simple. Like on the left we have Colombia, on the right we have the flag of the Kingdom of Two Sicilies. It's a mess. Before Italy became one place, this was like a kingdom that was in the south with the Sicily, and I don't know where the other Sicily was, but yeah, it's very interesting. The second rule is use meaningful symbolism. Your flag has to stand for something. On the left we have Japan, like Empire of the Rising Sun, right? Like that's just beautiful. On the right we have the flag of South Holland, a province in the Netherlands where I'm from. We don't have any lions in South Holland, so really, it's also just ugly colors put together. But the third principle is use 2 or 3 basic colors that look good together. For instance, on the right we have a proposed flag for the European Union by Dutch architect Rem Koolhaas. Some like call it like the barcode flag. It hurts to look at. And on the left, of course, Iceland. That's it. Red, white, and blue. Like, but don't be too glad because literally dozens of countries use red, white, and blue. It's almost a cliche at this point to use red, white, and blue. And in fact, there's only one flag in the world, one country flag that does not use red, white, or blue. So not red, white, and blue, but red, white, or blue. And if anyone at the end of my presentation can tell me which flag that is, I'll be very impressed. 4th rule, very important rule, no lettering or seals. These are 2 flags that both kind of want to represent that their country is a Muslim country. On the left we have Mauritania, which has the crescent and the star in the color blue, very important for Islam. And on the right, we have the flag of Saudi Arabia. And that's Arabic on the flag, and it says there's only one God, and that's Allah, and Muhammad is his messenger. But the problem with lettering on a flag is flags, like what I said earlier, this is not a flag, this is a flag. But flags do this, and this, and this. If this is reversed, I'm not sure how Arabic works, but I'm pretty sure you can't read that anymore. And that's just a big problem. And it's mostly a big problem for smaller entities. Like, there's no country flag that, like, except this one and Iran, I guess, but it's all stylized. Smaller entities such as states, such as counties, such as municipalities, they often go for just putting their like seal on a background. And this is what we refer to in the vexillological community as seal on a bed sheet. They just put the seal just on a black background, and that's the entire flag. These are all US state flags, and they're terrible, they're disgusting, and they should feel bad. Like, it's just like if you have to put on your flag, like, oh guys, we're Wisconsin, then that's not a good flag. And it doesn't have to be bad. There are fantastic US state flags. This is Arizona. This is New Mexico. That's beautiful. And okay, this is a controversial opinion, but I think Maryland is the best US state flag. And I will meet you outside because I will fight for this flag. If you disagree with me, I will beat you up. The fifth principle for a good flag is be distinctive or be related. On the left we have South Africa. Beautiful flag. You can see like there's nothing like this in the rest of the world. It also it breaks the other rule that we just established that you're using two or three basic colors, but it totally gets away with it. It's beautifully done. On the right we have Chad and Romania. I don't know which one's which. It's just, what are you guys doing? Just some of you switch. They don't want to. Also, yeah, there tend to be some general trends when it comes to flag design. These are all Slavic countries, and they all tend to opt for the red, white, and blue. These countries are all in Central America, and they can kind of do this. And in the north of South America, we have Ecuador, Colombia, and Venezuela. And they all used to be one empire, and it kind of fell apart, and you can still see this represented in the flags they currently have. And kind of on the top of this page, we have the Pan-African colors with red, green, and yellow. So even if you don't know, like I don't know all the flags in the world, but if I see a flag, I can pretty much say like, oh, like it's supposed to be there, it's supposed to be there. And of course, the last one, the Nordic Cross, very popular, very famous. And actually, like the most on the right, the Danish flag, that's the oldest national flag in the world. It's been around since the 1400s. So, well done, Denmark. Actually, I don't know, the Icelanders in the room might have heard of this, the fish rot files that got leaked a couple weeks ago. Like on the site of WikiLeaks, some files got released and like, oh, guys, some Icelanders were like buying all the fish stock in Namibia and like bribing people to get it. And I was looking, and I went to this page and I was like, huh, that's very clever what they did, because next to the fish rot files in the top left corner, we have this emblem that someone designed, I guess, and that's just like it's a sun with two fishes kind of in it, and that sun is from the Namibian flag. So I'm like, ha, someone knows their flags. Very nice. And some people notice what cities tend to have flags as well. Like this is Singapore, and they often take inspiration from the coat of arms of that city, and that's normally a good idea because then you have that last rule, like be related and have meaningful symbolism. Like these coats of arms are normally hundreds of years old, and if you want to create a flag for your city, then you just adopt that coat of arms. So that's in Singapore. This is St. Petersburg, and this is Amsterdam. And this flag is not just meant to represent the city; it also becomes like a marketing tool almost. Like if you see the three crosses, you know, it has to do with Amsterdam, or it's from Amsterdam, and it becomes a symbol of a city and something for the people from that city to identify themselves with. And it came to my attention that Reykjavik, it has a coat of arms, it's a beautiful coat of arms, with meaningful symbolism and good colors, but they don't really have a flag. I really had to search to find the image on the right, and I've never seen this flown outside anywhere. If someone wants to correct me, go ahead, please. So I just concluded, even if this is widely used, that's just shitty design, right, guys? Because that's like seal on a bed sheet. We don't like that. That's lazy. So I took it upon myself to design a flag for Reykjavik. So if you can have, yes, because another point, because it's not that Reykjavik doesn't like the symbol, because if you notice it, once you begin paying attention to it, you notice it everywhere. But it's mostly by municipal services, I guess. But it's still present. But yeah, can I have this drum roll right now? There we go. So if someone can because the municipality hasn't been replying to my emails. So if someone in this room has any connection whatsoever, please approach me after the presentation. But yeah, no, this is it. Thank you very much. If there are any questions over there. Jamaica, very good. Yes, that's my question about whether about the national flag without any red, white, or blue. The only one is Jamaica, which has green and black. Yes, it does. Yeah. Can we get the flag of Ghana?
Can I get the flag of Ghana?
Red, white, or blue?
Which one?
Flag
Okay.
Ghana.
Yeah, they found. He
There
found
you
out.
go.
Okay.
Yeah, you gotta pay attention, man. Keep up. Any other questions, concerns, doubts? Over there. I'll repeat. Yes, hello. I'll repeat the question for people that didn't hear it. How did those kind of regional things? How did those happen? And do the colors mean anything inherently? No, I don't think it does. Although a lot of with Mauritania and Saudi Arabia, a lot of Muslim countries do opt to go for green because it's a very important color in the Quran. But other than that, it's also just fashion. Because a lot of European countries have the tricolor, like Germany, Belgium, the Netherlands, France, and that just was, a fashionable thing to do for a while. And we also see some Central Asian countries, they have kind of similar flags while not having the same color scheme. They kind of go for the same layout. So it's also like everything. These things are trends, and they kind of go a lot of African countries. They chose to also go for a tricolor because they wanted to go after the flag of France, which, like the flag of the US, maybe right now for them stood for, which kind of shitty because France was their ruler, but it stood for freedom and the French Revolution, and they had their own revolution. They were now becoming independent, so they also went for that kind of a similar layout. So no, these things don't have meaning inherently, but countries give them meaning.
Do you know what Icelandic flag symbolizes?
Icelandic flag, was it like the red was lava, blue is sky, yeah. So okay, if they mean anything inherently, 9 times out of 10, if there's red on a flag, it stands for the blood for those that have fought for the flag, or something very cliche. Blue is always either sky or the ocean. White is always peace or innocence or prosperity or something like this. Excuse me? Glaciers. Oh,
The white
alright.
one is glacier.
Okay, didn't know that one. Original. Okay, I think we're done here.
Okay.